The CEO of Sleep. Let's get one thing straight. I don't just live here, I manage the place. My name is Figaro, and I am a gray-brown tabby with a PhD in domestic oversight. Today is a disaster. It is 25 degrees outside, a temperature only fit for ice cubes and penguins, and my staff is falling apart. The windows are frosted, the heater is groaning, and the humans are leaking from their noses. It's a Tuesday, and quite frankly, I'm the only one keeping it together. The morning shift started with a frantic scramble. Levent was wrestling with heavy coats and scarves, trying to get Fatima ready for her appointment. Fatima, who usually has the sense to stay under the warm blankets like a professional, was being wheeled toward the door. I watched from the safety of the radiator. Levent looked stressed, and Fatima gave me a look that said, "Help me, Figaro, it's a freezer out there." I couldn't help. I had a very important 9 a.m. grooming session scheduled for my left hind leg. Once they braved the tundra, the real problem started. Gulson was left behind to run the household, but there was a major structural flaw in her performance. She was sneezing every 3 minutes. As the head of Health and Wellness, I recognized the symptoms immediately. She has the human crud. My medical diagnosis? An immediate 8-hour horizontal intervention. I trotted over and let out a sharp, authoritative meow. "To the bedroom, Gulson. The pillows are calling." Did she listen? No. She ignored my expert advice and started a load of laundry. Then the car pulled back into the driveway. Levent dropped Fatima off and vanished to work, leaving the chaos to multiply. Gulson immediately shifted into high gear, maneuvering Fatima's wheelchair into the kitchen. "Breakfast time, my love," Gulson croaked. Her voice sounded like a gravel path. I paced between her ankles, trying to trip her in the direction of the stairs. It was for her own good. Meanwhile, Grandma Aisha and Grandpa Hassan were stationed on the sofa, looking like two very grumpy baked potatoes wrapped in wool blankets. They were both recovering from colds, too. The living room smelled like menthol and tea. Gulson was rushing around, bringing them hot mugs and extra napkins, even though her own eyes were watering. I looked at Aisha and Hassan. They were following the rules, sitting still and doing nothing. Why couldn't Gulson take a hint from the professionals? I decided to take drastic measures. I am a master of the lumen lead technique. When Gulson finished in the kitchen, I stood at the base of the stairs and stared at her with the intensity of 1,000 suns. When she approached, I bounded up 3 steps, turned and chirped. "Follow me to the land of duvets, human. Abandon the vacuuming. The dust will still be there tomorrow, but your dignity is fading fast." Success! She followed me. I sprinted into the master bedroom and performed a majestic leap onto the center of the bed. I did 3 circles to trample the nap zone into perfection and then flopped onto my side, purring like a chainsaw. I looked at the door, expecting Gulson to collapse beside me. Instead, she reached into the closet, grabbed a stack of clean towels, and turned right back around. She didn't even ruffle my ears. The disrespect was staggering. I chased her back down to the kitchen. The toaster was popping, the kettle was whistling, and the dishwasher was humming. It was a cacophony of productivity that I simply could not allow. I jumped onto the counter, a forbidden move, but these were desperate times, and sat directly on the pile of mail she was trying to sort. I let out a long, mournful howl. It was my best "I am starving and also you are dying" performance. Gulson finally sighed. She walked over to the table where Fatima was watching her favorite show and leaned her head against Fatima's shoulder for a second. Fatima reached up a hand and patted Gulson's cheek. It was a quiet moment, a brief pause in the storm of chores. I saw Gulson's shoulders drop. She was finally admitting defeat. The human crud was winning, and my persistence was finally paying off. I led her to the sofa this time. It wasn't the big bed, but it would do. Gulson crawled under a spare blanket next to Aisha, and within minutes, her breathing slowed. I took my rightful place on her chest, acting as a weighted medicinal fur compress. Fatima watched us from her chair, smiling quietly as the house finally went still. It's a heavy burden, being the only responsible member of this family, but someone has to make sure the napping gets done.